Hi, I'm Scott Clancy, leader and coach. I think the world needs better leaders and coaches, and I want to learn to be both. Today, I want to talk about finding purpose. Now, I served 37 years in the Canadian military, and that can be all encompassing, that kind of service. Family, postings, life, everything, including the sacrifices associated with it, all encompassing. But when I was mentoring people, I used to ask what some people would consider a strange question. How do you want it to end? Even though I never considered that myself. Because it can give you perspective on how you want to serve. And what's important in your life and how you balance those things. For me, I never reflected on that. How do you rationalize family, service, sacrifice against that calling that many of us that serve in the military have? Okay, well, that's important. Then I picked up Mark Divine's book, The Unbeatable Mind. Mark is a SEAL, created the SEAL Fit thing. But especially his chapter on the 3 Ps and the one thing really caught my attention. What's your passion? Where are your principles? And what's your purpose? What's that one thing that drives you? Hey, it got me journaling, really thinking about what those things were. Then, at the same time, I started listening to Jay Shetty's podcast, Life on Purpose. Now, he had lots of people talking about purpose, what provided purpose in their life, what does it mean to serve, what it means to serve in the community, how to be enlightened on that thing. And his ideas are about creating mindfulness so that you can provide purpose in every day. And I like that, because right at the microcosm, you can have purpose in every day by doing that mindfulness. You know, Jay Reed wrote that book, Think Like a Monk, and that's about training your mind to be able to do those types of things. Very, very mindful in its approach. Now on his podcast, he had this guy, Dan Butner, who wrote the book Blue Zones. Blue Zones was a world study looking at those societies or microcosms of societies that had the greatest longevity and trying to create a correlation between whatever the factors were that were common to those societies worldwide that had the greatest longevity. And what was really neat was that one of the direct correlations was to purpose. Those people who had purpose at an individual level, provided you purpose, these are the ones that had the greatest longevity. And the societies that created that sense of purpose at that individual level are the ones that were having the greatest longevity. Okay, so this is it's not just about your purpose in daily life, but it's about your longevity and your survival. So this is really interesting. Now, at the same time, at the end of this, I started transitioning out of the military. And as I transitioned out of the military, I picked up Jenny Blake's book, Pivot. Val would say it's the 2020 TM word, right? The trademark word of 2020, because everybody was using the word pivot. But in Jenny's book, on her portion that's about planting before you pivot and move, is about how to create or go through the process of creating a mind map, looking at all your values and putting this together. And I put in the work and I did this and I created a mind map. And my mind map, came up with 5 things that were really neatly worded in a focus that aligned my values on that sense of purpose. The first one was rage against age. For me, this is about being physically fit, being, eating well, doing all the rest of the things to do that. And I love that part. The second one was inspired, connected routines and horizons, where our routine and our horizon, our family, it's inspired and it's connected. I want to share life. Okay, life is to be lived. There's a texture. There's something to be tasted here in art and life and experiences and connection and family and all those things. Never stop sharing knowledge. I love sharing knowledge, I love teaching, I love all of that stuff. So that's something that I value greatly, and never stop serving. Those are the 5 things that came out of my mind map there. You have to work on this. So very clearly, there's power in finding purpose. Where do you find your purpose? Is it at work? I was in a system where you can value a lot through your service through work. But just merely providing for your family is a huge service. And whatever work that is, you have to recognize that. You have to value that. You have to internalize that. Where you perhaps provide service to your community. Maybe you coach your kids' teams or volunteer within the community, the Legion, the Cadets, the Lions Club, the variety of charities that are out there. And maybe it's your connection with your family that provides you purpose. Whatever it is, open your journal. Right at the top of the page, what is my purpose? Reflect and then start free writing. Here's some books that you could read that might help you with that. Look, I'm Scott Clancy. If you like what you see, go to www.coachesneed2lead.com. Let's connect up. You and me, we can build better coaches and leaders.